Today, we're exploring the key ideas from How to Know a Person by David Brooks. This is an independent educational overview, enriched with our own integrative analysis and actionable exercises. Think of it as a guided reflection to spark your own insights, not a replacement for reading the book itself. The modern world, despite its unparalleled connectivity, often fosters a profound sense of isolation and misunderstanding. In an era where screens mediate much of our interaction, a fundamental human skill, the capacity to truly see another person, has atrophied. This is more than a mere observation. It is a deep, empathetic apprehension of another's inner world, making them feel genuinely valued, heard, and understood. This profound act, which might be termed beholding, is presented not as a mystical gift, but as a crucial, learnable social competency essential for navigating the complexities of human existence. Our inherent tendency is to remain locked within our own minds, observing others through the distorting lenses of self-interest, anxiety, or preconceived notions. Yet true connection, personal fulfillment, and the very fabric of a healthy society hinge on transcending this self-absorption. The journey toward becoming someone who illuminates others requires a conscious, often arduous cultivation of specific relational skills, learning to listen deeply, to disagree constructively, to offer authentic forgiveness, and to engage in difficult conversations with grace. Such skills are rarely taught systematically in a society fixated on professional achievement and superficial digital engagement. The stakes are high. Without the ability to truly see, our personal decisions are flawed, our professional roles diminished, and our social fabric weakened. Spiritually, beholding acts as a creative force, enabling others to recognize their own potential and inherent worth, thereby fostering resilience and growth. On a societal level, it is indispensable for bridging divides, building trust across diverse communities, and repairing a fracturing democracy. This exploration, therefore, draws from diverse wells of wisdom, psychology, the arts, journalism, to offer a practical blueprint for cultivating a transformative posture toward people, promising not just better interactions, but access to life's deepest pleasures, the bliss of profound human connection. It calls us to shift from being diminishers, who shrink others with indifference, to illuminators, who, through persistent curiosity and practiced skill, empower those they encounter. The cultivation of attentive presence. Our natural inclination often leads us to diminish others, reducing their complex selves to reflections of our own anxieties or biases. This pervasive mutual blindness stems from several deeply ingrained human tendencies. Egotism, for instance, places our own experiences and opinions at the forefront, leaving scant mental space for genuine curiosity about another's journey. Anxiety, too, acts as internal static, drowning out authentic listening as we fret about our own presentation. We frequently fall prey to naive realism, assuming our personal view of reality is objective and universally shared, making it difficult to appreciate radically different perspectives. The lesser minds problem leads us to mistakenly believe our own internal world is vastly more intricate than anyone else's, simply because we lack full access to theirs. Treating individuals as mere data points, an objectivist stance, strips them of their unique subjectivity, their dreams and emotions. Similarly, essentialism encourages stereotyping and stacking assumptions based on limited information, while a static mindset prevents us from updating our understanding of those who have grown and changed over time. These habits, left unexamined, lead to deep disconnections, even within intimate relationships. Cultivating an illuminator's gaze requires a conscious shift from these diminishing habits. This gaze, exemplified by individuals who radiate genuine reverence for human dignity, actively seeks to understand and appreciate the unique mystery of each person. It embodies tenderness, a deep emotional concern that perceives shared humanity and looks beyond superficial flaws to see inherent worth. It demands receptivity, moving beyond self-preoccupation to patiently and openly receive what another offers, maintaining an attentive yet unforced mental state. Active curiosity fuels this gaze, prompting us to imagine what it truly feels like to inhabit another's life, fostering rich empathy. Affection is integral, recognizing that true knowing is a holistic experience, not just an intellectual exercise. Often, failures to see are failures of the heart. Generosity is also key, seeing the best in people regardless of circumstance, thereby empowering and transforming them. Finally, a holistic attitude resists the urge to simplify individuals into singular roles, embracing their full, often contradictory humanity, recognizing them as dynamic, ever-changing beings. Moving beyond observation, accompaniment deepens connection through relaxed, attentive presence in daily life. It's a gentle, other-centered way of moving alongside another's experiences without leaving or directing. This contrasts with an efficiency mindset, urging a conscious slowing down of interactions. Patience, a negative effort, respects another's timetable, allowing trust to unfurl naturally, like a friendship with lingerable people. Playfulness allows individuals to transcend achievement-oriented mindsets, fostering spontaneous coordination, shared laughter, and unspoken bonds of trust. Other-centeredness involves a surrender of power, subtly enhancing another's journey by prioritizing their plan and expression, providing context for growth rather than dictating. And presence means simply showing up, especially in moments of grief or humiliation, offering compassionate witness without needing wise words or solutions, affirming connection through silent support. This profound perception also requires understanding that a person is a point of view. Each individual is a creative artist, constantly constructing their own reality, a concept supported by brain research showing the mind actively builds a high-definition world from limited sensory data, rather than passively receiving it. This extends to our deepest sense of self, identity, life story, beliefs, all unique creations of our minds. To truly understand another, then, means stepping, however briefly, into their perspective, engaging with them as active creators of their reality, and asking probing questions about what shaped their unique lens. This journey culminates in the mastery of conversational skills. Good talks are not lectures but mutual expeditions. They demand treating attention as an on-off switch, giving 100% focused presence, and being a loud listener through vocal affirmations and expressive nonverbal cues. They involve favoring familiarity to get people talking about what they know, and making them authors by encouraging detailed storytelling with specific questions. Crucially, good talks embrace the pause, allowing for reflection, and employ looping to paraphrase and confirm understanding. In lopsided discussions, adopting a midwife model helps others develop their own insights. In disagreements, identifying and returning to gem statements, underlying shared truths, maintains relational strength, or finding the disagreement under the disagreement by exploring deeper moral roots. And avoiding being a topper, redirecting to one's own similar experiences, keeps the focus on the speaker's narrative. Ultimately, true listening, where one's meaning becomes clear to another, is a rare and invaluable human experience, made more common by these deliberate practices. Navigating the landscape of human vulnerability now pervades society, manifesting as surging loneliness, declining friendships, and escalating rates of depression and suicide. This isn't merely a lapse in etiquette, but a profound emotional and spiritual malady, leaving many feeling unseen and unvalued. This pervasive blindness warps perception, transforming unacknowledged sadness into bitterness and hostility, fueling a visible rise in meanness and distrust that unravels social cooperation. Recognition in this fractured landscape becomes a desperate craving, spilling into politics, where identity validation displaces policy debate, offering a hollow sense of belonging that ultimately heightens resentment. At its extreme, this isolation and yearning for visibility can lead to horrific acts, where the ultimate evil is the obliteration of another's humanity. This crisis stems from a deep moral failure, society's abandonment of moral formation, neglecting to teach the fundamental skills of kindness, generosity, and respect, leaving generations ill-equipped to truly see and value others' dignity. Engaging in hard conversations, especially across deep divides, is therefore a critical and challenging skill. Such dialogues are not just about individual personalities, but are shaped by complex group identities, historical inheritances, and power imbalances, often erupting from legitimate fury when marginalized groups feel unseen. Navigating these requires seeing others on multiple levels, as unique individuals, as group members, and within their specific social locations. Crucially, hard conversations operate on two planes: the explicit topic and the unspoken emotional exchange, where every comment either fosters safety or generates threat, conveying respect or disrespect. Success hinges on these underlying currents. Respecting another's frame, their understanding of the conversation's purpose and goals, is paramount, particularly when one views an issue objectively while another experiences it as a personal struggle. When conversations derail, often due to a lack of shared knowledge or a shift from seeking common ground to simply winning, it's vital to pause, identify the tension, clarify motives, and re-establish a mutual enlarged purpose. Ruptures, paradoxically, can become opportunities for deeper connection through shared vulnerability. Fundamentally, these conversations are difficult because different life circumstances construct vastly different realities, a phenomenon cognitive science calls affordances. We perceive the world not as it is, but as it is for us, based on our capacity for action. When a loved one is in despair, particularly battling depression, the instinct to fix or offer positive platitudes is often misguided and alienating. Depression is not mere sadness, but a distorted state of consciousness that warps perceptions of self, time, and space, rendering conventional advice useless. The true role of a friend is not to cure, but to acknowledge this devastating reality, to listen without judgment, respect their suffering, and offer unwavering presence. When words fail, simply being there holds immense power. Validating their experience, perhaps by sharing an understanding of depression as a malfunction of the instrument we use to determine reality, can offer a crucial sense of not being alone. Small, consistent gestures, like a brief, unprompted note, reaffirm connection without burden. It's essential to separate the illness from the person, avoiding the trap of taking their altered state personally. Supporting someone through this nightmarish world demands endless flexibility, profound humility, and a leap of faith, accepting that the beast may be larger than anyone involved. The lingering ache of such loss underscores the heroic necessity of simply being present, offering comfort, and seeing them, even when hope is dim. The art of empathy is a sophisticated set of social and emotional skills, not a mere gush of feeling. It begins with mirroring, accurately perceiving and subtly reenacting another's emotions in one's own body, requiring emotional granularity to distinguish finely between various emotional states. This skill is enhanced by attuning to bodily sensations and expanding one's emotional vocabulary, often through experiences like reading literature. Next is mentalizing, understanding why another person is experiencing particular emotions, drawing on one's own experiences to project on their situation, allowing for nuanced understanding of complex feelings. Finally, caring is the crucial step of responding to the other person's actual needs, which may differ from what one would want in a similar situation. Effective caring means stepping outside one's perspective to provide the specific support required, even if it feels awkward. Empathy can be significantly enhanced through deliberate practice. Contact theory brings diverse groups together with shared goals. Observation deepens insight. Reading character-driven literature expands emotional repertoire, and emotion spotting tools enhance emotional granularity. Paradoxically, thoughtfully processing one's own suffering can be a powerful catalyst, enabling individuals to shed defensive architectures and connect with others' pain with greater vulnerability, literally reshaping how one perceives the world. Profound suffering often shatters our fundamental assumptions, forcing a confrontation with existential truths. Individuals typically respond by either trying to assimilate the trauma into existing mental models or accommodating it by creating entirely new ones. The latter path, true growth, acknowledges that the trauma has irrevocably altered who they are, requiring a reevaluation of safety, justice, and identity. This arduous journey into the disavowed parts of oneself is a night sea journey. To truly know someone is to understand how they've processed these losses, whether emerging wiser or remaining stuck. A good friend accompanies them through this transformative process. Early trauma, if unaddressed, can lead to sealed-up lives, preventing profound transformation. The act of revisiting and reinterpreting past events, fostering mental flexibility, and placing tragedy within a larger narrative, especially when shared with an affirming presence, is essential for self-discovery, liberation, and growth. Unveiling the richness of individual being. Understanding the distinctive energy an individual brings into any setting is fundamental to comprehending human behavior. Personality traits are deeply ingrained dispositional signatures, shaping interactions and life paths, and a thriving society benefits from this rich tapestry of human types. While pop psychology offers often flawed categories, a robust framework is provided by the Big Five personality traits: extroversion, conscientiousness, neuroticism, agreeableness, and openness. Extroversion isn't just sociability, but an attraction to positive emotions and excitement, leading to warmth and thrill-seeking, but also potential impulsiveness. Conscientiousness embodies impulse control, discipline, and a focus on long-term goals, fostering achievement but also perfectionism. Neuroticism reflects a powerful response to negative emotions, marking sensitivity to threats, worry, and emotional volatility. Yet it can also facilitate early danger detection and empathy. Agreeableness is characterized by compassion, cooperation, and emotional intelligence, building strong relationships but sometimes hindering assertiveness. Openness signifies a strong motivation for new experiences and ideas, fostering innovation and imagination, though it may lead to boredom with routine. These traits, observable in behavior, offer insights as predictable as IQ, vital for tailoring interactions. They are not fixed. Personality, especially neuroticism, can be modified, and people often become more agreeable, conscientious, and emotionally stable with age. Embracing this unique blend empowers individuals to build meaningful lives and appreciate diverse human contributions. Human existence also unfolds as a series of evolving life tasks, each prompting a fundamental shift in perception. From infancy's bonding to toddlerhood's autonomy, our minds adapt. The imperial task, childhood to early adulthood, centers on agency and competence, fostering a self-centered imperial consciousness focused on validation and competition. The interpersonal task, adolescence, focuses on social identity and intimacy, cultivating an interpersonal consciousness marked by empathy and idealism, where self-worth is externally influenced. The career consolidation task emphasizes vocation and achievement, fostering a productive but sometimes emotionally detached, captain of my own ship mindset. This often leads to the generative task, a commitment to serving the world and future generations, embodying a gift logic and a generative consciousness as a guardian. Finally, the integrity versus despair task in later life involves coming to terms with one's journey, fostering wisdom, emotional openness, and acceptance. These are flexible templates, demanding costly but essential disembedding from old mindsets and re-embedding in new ones, reminding us that we are perpetually evolving. People possess an innate longing to articulate their personal narratives, yet modern society often inhibits this fundamental human act. We are proficient in paradigmatic, analytical thinking, but deficient in narrative understanding, which is essential for comprehending an individual's unique essence and evolving character. Constructing and refining one's life story is indispensable for forging identity and finding meaning. When listening to others, several layers emerge. Their distinctive tone of voice reveals their core worldview. Their unconscious imago reflects an idealized self-image. Their overarching plotline often draws from cultural archetypes. The reliability of the narrator gauges honesty, and narrative flexibility is vital for updating stories in crisis. The act of telling one's story, especially when met with an affirming presence, catalyzes self-discovery. Our origins, places, people, and cultural legacies deeply embed themselves in our consciousness, forming our givenness. Individuals are not passive recipients, but cultural co-creators, embracing, rejecting, and transforming these legacies. Double vision is key, perceiving people simultaneously as products of their group cultures and as unique individuals. Deep cultural patterns, rooted in history, e.g. tight versus loose cultures, weird societies, profoundly influence modern behavior. For example, ancestral reverence for the written word, a tendency toward disputation, or an ingrained sense of life as an audacious moral journey can be transmitted across millennia. To truly understand others, therefore, requires exploring these profound sources of self, where their spiritual home lies, how ancestors manifest, and how they navigate inherited culture, moving beyond superficial judgments to see them whole. Finally, true wisdom is not about offering ready-made solutions, but the profound capacity to see deeply into who people are and how they navigate life's challenges. A wise person adopts the role of a compassionate coach, attentively witnessing another's story, creating a safe atmosphere for honest self-confrontation. Rather than dictating, they help others process their thoughts, expanding personal meaning. This involves patient accompaniment, balancing receptivity with the courage to confront self-deceptions, critiquing with care, by naming truths without unwavering respect. Such relationships, where friends hold up a mirror for self-discovery, unlock unexpressed aspects of one's nature. Wisdom is a social skill, practiced within a community of truth, where individuals try on each other's perspectives, fostering shared awareness and a subtle knowledge about human connection itself. The journey toward becoming such an illuminator is ongoing, demanding a conscious shift in posture, confronting ego, and cultivating a moral purpose rooted in just and loving attention. It is in these everyday acts of encounter that people are truly seen, and in turn, deepen their understanding of themselves and the world. Integrative Analysis and Implications. The core thesis resounding through this exploration is that the ability to profoundly see another human being stands as the most vital, yet often neglected, skill in contemporary life. This isn't a passive observation, but an active, empathetic engagement that makes someone feel utterly beheld, valued, understood, and recognized in their unique complexity. The book masterfully argues that this capacity is not merely an innate trait, but a sophisticated, learnable craft, essential for personal well-being, robust relationships, and a functioning society. The journey to becoming an illuminator begins with shedding the pervasive diminisher tricks that prevent genuine connection. Our inherent self-absorption, anxieties, and biases, from naive realism to static mindsets, create a perceptual blindness that reduces others to caricatures or projections of our own internal world. Overcoming this requires a deliberate cultivation of what is termed an illuminator's gaze, a posture of tenderness, receptivity, active curiosity, affection, generosity, and a holistic attitude that embraces the full, often contradictory, humanity of others. This gaze is not just emotional, it is a moral act, a selfless and discerning regard that affirms dignity and potential. The cultivation of this gaze extends into concrete relational practices. Accompaniment teaches us to move beyond superficial interaction, embracing patience, playfulness, other-centeredness, and simple, supportive presence, allowing authentic connection to unfold without force. Crucially, the understanding that a person is a point of view, a creative constructor of their own reality, underscores the need to step into another's subjective world, rather than reducing them to objective data. This perspective fuels the development of good talks, emphasizing active, loud listening, the art of looping to confirm understanding, and making others authors of their own stories, through humble, open-ended, right questions that invite deep introspection. The framework further delves into the landscape of human vulnerability, acknowledging the profound societal crisis of disconnection, loneliness, and distrust. This crisis is rooted in a moral failure, the neglect of character formation that leaves individuals ill-equipped for genuine connection. Navigating this demands skill in hard conversations, recognizing their two-tiered nature, explicit topic and emotional undercurrent, respecting differing frames of reality, and understanding the concept of affordances, how our perceptions are shaped by our capacities and circumstances. In moments of despair, particularly with mental illness, the emphasis shifts from advising to simply being there, validating suffering and offering unwavering presence. The art of empathy is dissected into its components of mirroring, mentalizing, and caring, revealing it as a complex skill that can be enhanced through deliberate practice and, paradoxically, by thoughtfully processing one's own suffering. Understanding how individuals are shaped by their sufferings, choosing assimilation or transformative accommodation, is key to understanding their deeper journey. Finally, the book guides us to appreciate the richness of individual strengths, moving beyond superficial judgments. It introduces the Big Five personality traits as a robust framework for understanding the unique energy individuals bring, emphasizing their inherent value and modifiability. It then posits life tasks as flexible templates for growth, from imperial self-assertion to generative service and integrity, showcasing the perpetual evolution of human consciousness. The profound importance of life stories is highlighted, recognizing narrative as essential for identity and meaning, with insights into tone of voice, imago, plotline, and narrative flexibility. Furthermore, our ancestors, our inherited cultures and historical contexts profoundly shape our givenness, requiring double vision to see individuals as both products of their group and unique co-creators of their lives. All these insights converge on a reframed understanding of wisdom as an active, relational practice of attentive accommodation and critiquing with care within a community of truth. The implications of cultivating this just and loving attention are profound and far-reaching. For individuals, it promises deeper personal fulfillment, more resilient relationships, and a heightened sense of purpose. It fosters mental flexibility, emotional granularity, and a greater capacity for self-awareness and growth. For society, it offers a tangible path to bridging the chasms of misunderstanding and distrust that fragment communities and undermine democratic discourse. By making a conscious effort to see each other not as stereotypes or mere data points, but as complex, evolving beings with unique points of view, struggles, and strengths, we begin to repair the frayed social fabric. This commitment to beholding is an ongoing, heroic endeavor, demanding vulnerability, humility, and persistent practice. In an increasingly lonely world, the capacity to make another person feel truly seen is not just a polite gesture, it is the fundamental moral act, the foundation of human dignity, and the most powerful force for healing and connection we possess. Actionable Exercises. 1. The Looping Listening Challenge. In your next few conversations, especially when discussing something important or sensitive, make a conscious effort to paraphrase what the other person has just said before responding. Start with phrases like, "So, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying X," or "It sounds like you feel Y because of Z." Don't just repeat their words verbatim. Try to capture the essence of their message and feelings in your own words. Notice how often your initial interpretation is slightly off, and how this practice encourages the speaker to clarify or elaborate, deepening both your understanding and their feeling of being truly heard. This simple act builds trust and ensures you're both on the same page. 2. The Illuminator's Best Self-Gaze. For the next week, choose one person you interact with regularly, a colleague, family member, cashier, etc., and consciously adopt an illuminator's gaze. Before each interaction, pause for a moment and remind yourself to look beyond superficial impressions or current moods. Actively seek to understand their inherent worth, their unique strengths, and the best version of themselves, imagining their potential. See them not as a role or a stereotype, but as a complex river of experience. Ask yourself, what is beautiful or valuable in this person right now? Even without words, let this internal posture guide your presence and attention, fostering a warm, respectful curiosity. 3. Uncovering life stories with humble questions. In your next few conversations, particularly with someone you want to know better, challenge yourself to ask humble, open-ended questions that encourage storytelling. Instead of, "What do you do?" try, "Tell me about how you came to be doing what you do." For significant experiences, use the Take Me Back technique. Can you take me back to that moment? What was it like? Or, what experiences and beliefs shaped your perspective on this? Focus on questions that begin with, "How did you?" "What's it like?" or "Tell me about," and then truly listen, allowing pauses for reflection. Your goal isn't to collect data, but to invite them to be the author of their own unfolding story. 4. Practice side-by-side accompaniment. Identify an everyday activity you can share with someone: walking, doing chores, sharing a quiet coffee, working on separate tasks in the same room. During this time, practice accompaniment. Your role is not to lead, advise, or even talk much. Instead, offer a relaxed, attentive presence. Be patient, allowing silence and respecting their space. Practice other-centeredness by subtly adapting to their pace and focus, prioritizing their comfort. Simply be with them, without agenda, allowing a shared, natural rhythm to emerge. Notice how this quiet, non-demanding presence fosters comfort and subtle understanding, strengthening your bond without many words. 5. Empathy through mentalizing and caring. When someone you care about expresses a strong emotion, joy, frustration, sadness, don't immediately offer solutions or compare it to your own experience. First, try to mentalize. Ask yourself, why might they be feeling this particular emotion given their unique perspective and experiences? Imagine stepping into their point of view, recognizing that their reality might be different from yours. Once you have a clearer sense of the why, then practice caring by asking, "What do you actually need from me right now?" Or, how can I best support you in this situation? This moves beyond simply mirroring emotions to truly addressing their specific needs, even if it feels awkward or counterintuitive to your own immediate impulses. That wraps up our exploration of today's book. If even one idea here gave you something to reflect on, give it a like so YouTube knows to share more with you. And if you'd like the next insight in your feed, hit subscribe. Remember, what you heard today is our independent interpretation, enriched with analysis and exercises. The full book has far more depth, so consider reading it to experience the author's work directly. Thanks for listening to DeftU Insights, where we turn great books into tools for growth.